the weak market environment. Export sales improved in Q2 and grew by 61% as compared to the first quarter. This is working on expanding its presence by launching more models and covering more markets. During the year, various cost reduction initiatives helped the company generate more space to increase marketing and sales expenses. These initiatives and localization efforts will further continue into the year. The depreciation of the rupee made import expensive, but owing to inventories, the impact will reflect with a lag in the second half of the year. The company commissioned the third vehicle assembly line at Manisha and the diesel engine plant of capacity 150,000 engines per year in Gurgaon. We think demand fluctuation will continue, and we have to keep enhancing capacity, keeping the medium and long term in mind. Q2 also includes the benefit of the merger of Suzuki Powertrain in India Limited. The result of the Q2 of 2012-13 reflects the financial of the company before the merge. In the second quarter, net sales stood at 102 billion rupee, a growth of 2% over Q1. Profit after tax stood at 6,702 million rupee, a growth of 6% over Q1. I now come to our outlook for the second half of the year. The economy scenario continues to be uncertain, and we'll have to rely on our own effort to enhance sales. In the long term, we are confident of the growth of potential of India, but are not in position to predict sales in the short term. The impact of the rupee depreciation on our direct and indirect import will reflect in future quarters. We have to be conscious of this. These sales expenses will depend on the market situation and hence continue to be uncertain. The depreciation of our new plant, the Manisha C line and the diesel engine plant at Gurgaon, will also start reflecting in our books in the second half of the year. We will keep working on localization and cost reduction to be able to support.
All right, that was Maruti. While the numbers meet expectations, and that was the management telling you about or breaking down the numbers further for you, and of course the guidance as well. But with that, let's go back to commodities, and the headlines on today's show are: the gold is hovering near 5-week highs as traders bet the US Fed Reserve will stick with its bullion-friendly stimulus measures at a policy meeting later this week. The Brent crude trades above $107 a barrel, in trade taking a break after 3 days of losses as investors wait on the US Fed policy meeting later this week. And the rupee weakens ahead of the RBI policy. The rupee ends the day at 61.52 to the dollar. Straight up on the show today, and we put the focus on the gold prices, which are hovering at around 5-week highs, but overall this year has been quite a disappointment. Improved risk appetite and economic scenario is looking at investors choosing equities over the precious metal. In fact, gold is headed for its first decline in 13 years. For more on gold, we are now joined by Somsundaram PR of World Gold Council. Also joining us is Sunil Kashyap of Scotia Bank on the show. Somhai, let's start with you first. And how do you see the policy measures which have been introduced in 2013? Do you see them being rolled back as stability comes back, or do you see adjustment in the new regulations by the industry?
I would not say they will be rolled back, but certainly as things improve, we will see that the industry adjusts itself to the new regulation, and certainly we will see a policy which is more benign, as we have seen in the last 2 decades. But I think we should see some stability for a few more months, and perhaps then we will see a more benign policy.
Also, Som, if you look at the Indian prices, they are better off than the international prices, with the premium at around record highs of around $100 per ounce or so. How are you reading the trend?
Well, as I said, I can't comment on the forecast of prices, but we have seen that the Indian prices are at a substantial premium to the international prices, and this certainly will tend to get factored into the buying behavior as well of the people, because they know they are paying slightly higher for the local demand. But as we have always maintained, these price increases or decreases just get factored into the buying behavior. People may time the purchases, in perhaps spacing it over a couple of quarters, but the demand as such is not quite elastic to the movement in prices. Even the drop when we saw in April, when people queued up to buy, quite a lot of it is to make perhaps advanced purchases of their requirements. So I think people do tend to look at gold in a more responsible way than we think. They're not swayed by prices either up or down.
Sunil, getting you in the conversation, then the spot premium is at record highs, as we were discussing with Som as well. Do you see the issues persisting as we're going forward as well, or do you see imports improving in the market?
I think the spot premium is really more of, in India, is a more of a function of local supply and demand. I think as the importers adjust to the new price, you will find that spot premiums will come off and there will be more supply coming into the market. So I think it's just a temporary situation right now.
Sure. So I'm coming back to you. The previous quarter was weak on imports and demand. How are you looking at this quarter as we are into middle of peak festive season?
Demand is quite robust. Anecdotally, what we pick up is that there's quite a good season for gold. We have seen footfalls increasing, but there is certainly in the organized trade, we do also hear about supply pressures. Because consignment clearances have just resumed, and they may not all be sufficient to meet the higher spike in demand. But demand tends to be robust in any case. This is a festival season and has been a good monsoon. So gold tends to be the flavor of the season always in the quarter 4 of the calendar year. And we see no reason why that should change at all. And given the fact that particularly rural incomes are going to go up, I think we see a phase where demand will be very, very strong.
Sunil, do you see more silver buying in India this festive season as there are so many curbs on gold?
We do feel that the demand for silver, especially after mid-September, early October, has seen an increase and it's quite steady. It's not phenomenal, but it's quite steady right now and it's quite strong for the festive season.
Sunil, also, what's your advice to the long-term investors? Would you tell them to invest in bullion at these current prices and policies?
Bullion is a diversification tool and people should look at it as such rather than look at it for short-term gains. Basically, you should be looking at the fact that bullion, especially gold, works in a very anti-cyclical fashion. So when you see stocks going down, that's when gold prices and then silver prices go up.
So what would you look at, whether it's coins or jewelry? What do you think the markets are picking up right now?
Well, people will tend to buy coins as well, and jewelry, of course, is going to be probably more in demand now that the banks don't sell coins and post offices stopped coins. So people probably will move to buying gold in the form of jewelry. But As I said, gold in any form is an investment in India. So, cutting off one form will not restrict the demand in any sense in the medium term. We believe that this season, jewelry will be absolutely in good demand, and coins too. It is not that coins are not available in the market. And as we said, this is the kind of demand that is not impulse driven. Therefore, managing demand through supply constraints may not exactly work in the long term. So we do hear that even coins are available in the market.
Sunil, this one is to you. What kind of returns are you estimating by next Diwali if someone was to invest in gold and silver?
Wow, that's a difficult one. We don't really project returns. There's a general consensus in the market that prices may not shoot up too much. Recently, there was a major industry survey done, which tended to show that gold prices probably by the end of next year, by next Diwali, for example, would trade around $1,450. So slightly higher, maybe 10% higher than they are currently. And that's the sort of general industry consensus.
Fair point with that, Sunil. With that, that's the view coming in from the World Gold Council and Scotiabank as well. But let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion on gold with some new experts. Don't go away.
भारतीय एक्सा ने बदला है जीवन सुरक्षा का नजरिया अपनी डेडिकेटेड क्लेम्स हैंडलर से।
अब आपके क्लेम सेटलमेंट प्रोसेस को सरल बनाने में हम आपकी सहायता करेंगे।
तभी तो एक्सा दुनिया के बेहतरीन इंश्योरेंस कंपनियों में से एक है। अब डेडिकेटेड क्लेम्स हैंडलर की सुविधा नए सिक्योर इनकम प्लान पर भी उपलब्ध है। भारतीय एक्सा, जीवन सुरक्षा का नया नजरिया।
नया एलईडी, बड़ा स्क्रीन, बोले तो सब मिलेगा, पर उससे पहले घर का एक्स्ट्रा सामान OLX.in पर फ्री ऐड डालकर बेचो और घर बैठे कमाओ।
राहें सपनों के आगे भागे वो पीछे पीछे, ख्यालों से खिले हैं रंग, ख्यालों से खिलेंगे रंग, ख्यालों से खिलेंगे रंग, सोया खाबों की डाल के रंगों को सींचे सींचे सींचे, ख्यालों से खिले रंग।
The most magical color experience with Triluminous LED. Bravia. Sony. Technology is not about gold metal. It's about giving people access to a healthier life so that they can be there for their loved ones. And technology does not discriminate. It opens its doors to everyone. That's what our advanced cancer diagnostic scanners do every day. For more and more people in India now, technology is hope.
पैसे बढ़ाने में बहुत मेहनत लगती है, चाहे वो गोल्ड, शेयर्स, म्यूचुअल फंड्स या इंश्योरेंस। इसलिए मैं सुनता हूँ सिर्फ अपने दिमाग की, ताकि फैमिली की खुशियों के लिए मैं सुनूं सिर्फ अपने दिल की। हैप्पी एनिवर्सरी SMC, इंडियाज अवार्ड विनिंग ब्रोकर, जो रखे आपके निवेश का ख्याल। SMC, मनी वाइज, बी वाइज।
Berger Silk, luxury smooth and unique textures, हर दीवार पर।
दीवारों से नजर नहीं हटती।
Deep in the jungle of Mount Sabino, we search for endangered animals which we may never see again. From a single strand of hair to the faintest wrinkle, UHD brings every detail to life before your very eyes. Discover true detail. Samsung UHD TV.
The economic downturn has severely impacted investor sentiment. Will India celebrate the Festival of Lights with a market rally, or will the markets continue to be in a limbo? We asked 3 prominent global speakers about their outlook on India and its share in their emerging market portfolios. Catch India is the worst over a global view. A Diwali special only on ET Now.
Welcome back. We continue to chat on the gold prices. We got you views from the World Gold Council, which says that the demand on coins and jewelry is expected to be on the higher side today. And of course, the Scotiabank view, where they feel that $1,450 per